Awesome. Here we are. Happy Native Heritage Month, everyone. Ganeshish Hawa so much for joining us for the 9th annual Howard Rock and Ted Stevens Smokehouse Gala, which is an opportunity for us at First Alaskans Institute to celebrate the amazing Alaska Native people that we come from and to recognize our friends as well. It's a time for us to come together and really celebrate the amazing contributions of our ancestors, our elders, and our people today. For over 10,000 years, Alaska has been a native place and always will be. And we are so glad you are joining us tonight for this portion of our gala. We have been doing it virtually for the past 2 weeks, and today is our culminating event. My name is Lagunai, or Liz Medicine Crow. I'm Haida and Tlingit. I come from Akighqukaaghaq, which is where I'm zooming in from tonight. And I've had the privilege and honor of working for First Alaskans Institute now for 13 years. And one of the things that I really love about the work that we get to do is that we get to work alongside our community and lift up our people's brilliance. And we want to do that for the next 10,000 years. So welcome everyone. We can't wait to share with you some amazing people that just are fantastic examples of what we are talking about. And our trustees and our staff who've been pouring their hard work into making sure that we can have a great time tonight. And I'm joined here with my sister, Akighqukaaghaq, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Sister Ayurunga, Ungalaklik Nurunga. I am Akighqukaaghaq. My family is from Ungalaklik, also known as Yunaklit, and I serve as the Vice President and Indigenous Operations Director for First Alaskans, where I have been for a little over 10 years now. Thank you so much. We always talk about how Native New Year starts with our First Alaskans Institute Elders and Youth Conference. And I think that it just stretches all the way through our gala. We get to uplift and really celebrate and be so incredibly proud and visible. And it's just one of my favorite times of year. And it's such a pleasure to be here with all of you, even though we really do miss being in person. We know how important it is to protect our people and our families. And so the gift of this time and doing this virtually is that we have the honor of getting to come into your homes. So quyanaasinaq, thank you for tuning in and for helping us uplift these incredible people and celebrating our community.
We really couldn't do all of this, especially during a pandemic, without the good, hard work of some incredible people on our team, and also our community of donors and artists who just really stepped up at a time when things are tough. We know things are tough right now for everyone, and we've been in this situation now for the past few months. So Alaska Native Heritage Month, the month of November, is just such a fantastic time for us to remember and lift up and celebrate all the good things. And so we just really welcome all of you and welcome your families, and thank you for letting us be in your homes with you tonight. That's an exciting part of being virtual, is that although we can't be in person, we get to be with each and every one of you that's taking some time to spend with us this evening. Are you?
Yeah, we also want to acknowledge and begin, as we always do, with an acknowledgement of the First Peoples who have always stewarded the lands that every single one of us are on. The Indigenous people's stewardship of this place that we call home is the reason that we're able to be here and enjoy it in the ways that we do. So though First Alaskans Institute is a statewide Alaska Native organization, our main office currently is located in what's known as TRHT, also known as Anchorage, on the beautiful unceded traditional lands of the Dena'ina peoples. And so we uplift and acknowledge that they have allowed us to do this work here in Akighqukaaghaq since our founding 20 years ago. We're celebrating 20 years of First Alaskans Institute this year. So we really uplift them, their continued and perpetual stewardship of this place. And we also acknowledge and uplift the Indigenous peoples on whose land all of our team are zooming in from, and each and every one of you. So we know that everywhere we are in the world, there are Indigenous peoples who are of the place that we're calling in from. And we like to uplift and acknowledge them and thank them. Good night.
Thank you so much. My favorite is the fact that we're all inhabiting this virtual space now, also unceded. That the air, the lands, the waters, those are Indigenous territories. And we get to be here zooming in and being virtual with all of you. So I just wanted to add that next. And with that, I'd invite Katkaidam Hana'a to join us. She's going to lead us in a blessing.
Doikshisham to you both for that beautiful beginning. I want to share my gratitude to the Hike Foundation. They work to preserve and perpetuate the Tsimaliaq language. That's the language of the Tsimshian people. And in doing so, they gather and share words from our elders from the past as well as from the present. And they encourage people to speak our language as much as we can. So in Doikshisham to them for preserving one of our elders' words, Russell Hayward, who is Ganhada, or from the Raven clan. And in 1982, he shared a blessing that I'll share with you tonight. Forgive me if I make any mistakes, as I'm a learner of Tsimaliaq. Kshkokoda sagwa'a, ashkab'u gyaina mand. Dimdidulshu, amwil kshkekwantka gyamg. Dimti in gwinitsen dakoi. Ndam willa sa'am, ligigoda gyed. Ndam willa hlemom, dimsi elksha, willa ba, halitzogam. Ninil mawil hlemomi shamoiget. This is the first day of the rest of my life. Let the sun rise. Show me the way to do good unto others, to help keep a smooth flow of life in this world. So help me, Creator. In Doikshisham.
Doikshisham, sister. At this time, I would like to invite our other sister, Shulukanatanichkak, to come on and introduce this next part.
Shumai, everyone. We Shulukanatanichkak, up to Hutna Melissa Borton. I'm FAI's Indigenous Advancement Director, and I've been with this amazing team for just under 1 year. I'm zooming in tonight from the Shukpiak Island of Kodiak, where I was born, and I'm born and raised and currently live and work. This year, FAI chose Alutiiq as our featured language, and I'm so proud of that. As such, I'm also deeply honored to be able to introduce to you our first performance of the evening, the Kodiak Alutiiq dancers. Please share the video now.
We call it Sakulak. In this song, we are telling a story about our ancestors. So our ancestors believed that when the ducks left in the fall, they went to the land or the world that our ancestors lived in, the people who had gone before us. And so with them, with the ducks in the fall, we would send our prayers and our messages so that they could be delivered to our ancestors. So here is our duck song.
Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. You know, if you're not familiar with the ways that the Kodiak Alutiiq peoples and the Siuxbiaq peoples have been waking up their singing and their dancing, I hope that you take the time and learn about that incredibly inspiring journey. We're living in a time of awakening for our peoples. We're living in a time of awakening and thriving of our cultures. And one of the ways that we've done that is by featuring, as Shlukanat shared, featuring an Alaska Native language each year. And as she said, this year it was Alutiiq and Siuxbiaq. Next year it will be the Iyak. And, you know, I was really reflecting on a teaching of Yupik elder Peter Jacobs. He talked about how our people put our cultures to sleep to protect them because of things that we were experiencing at the time. But we're coming into a time of awakening. And as we are waking up, our children are waking up. And he would ask, our children are waking up and they're waking up hungry. What are we going to feed them? And with that, I would like to pull up the next video to help us to see just that.
Give me 1 minute here, IU. About 30 more seconds and I'll have that video ready. Oh, you're on mute.
I think someone said something and I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. Are we able to pull up the next video? This one is a special treat. Well, honestly, they all are. They all are a special treat, but this one is such a sweet way to kick us off. Laguna?
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about, IU, is the quote from Peter Jacobs. You know, one of the things that I really love about that quote is that it just kind of showcases just how smart our people have always been and how much we are in tune with the way that human beings are and the way that we sleep, the way that we wake up, and that analogy to me really speaks heavy truth, because what is the first thing that you do? Say you're caring for a family member who has been unwell and they start healing. What is the first thing that happens? They wake up hungry. And when people are like, hey, how's so-and-so doing? Are they getting better? And you're like, oh yeah, they're eating now. They got their appetite back. Well, that's what that quote means to me. That after this period of being asleep, we've all woken up. And our children especially are waking up hungry with an appetite for all that we are. And it's our job to make sure that they can access that. And that's one of the things that I love about our awardees tonight as well. So I can't wait to be able to honor them. But I really love that quote. What will we feed them? That's our responsibility. What do you think, Ayu?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I said, you know, he's Peter Jacobs. He is an elder who has since passed. I know he's well known for speaking about that all over his region and the state. And he's from Akighqukaaghaq, Bethel area. So I continue to be inspired by that quote, and I'm really thankful for it. And, you know, I was really thinking about that watching the Kodiak Alutiiq dancers, because they're the embodiment of just exactly that. It's so beautiful. Okay, it sounds like our video is ready for us, and so we're in for a treat. Oh, there's no sound. Maybe we can rewind it a little bit and make sure we have the sound.
Okay, Akado. Okay, we're handing over the mic to you to sing your song. Ariga. Quyanaasinaq. Okay, that.
Pitak and Akighqukaaghaq. I'm not sure if you got to hear their sweet little voices. They were introducing themselves in Inupatun. Something that we'll be doing throughout our time with you is we're going to be showing clips, as we've mentioned, and we'll also be sharing links to the full clips in the live stream, as well as through our social media. So we hope that you take the time to go and go and watch these performances and listen to them full blast, because my goodness, Pitak and Akighqukaaghaq, I was so proud to hear their Inupiaq introductions. With that, I'd like to hand it over to unei. We're going to transition.
Oh goodness, geez, how I love it! I love it! I love it! I hope people have a chance to go and watch the entire Indigenize It. Our people are talented, and it was so exciting to watch Pitak and Akighqukaaghaq share their song with everyone during Indigenize It this year. So now we want to take a little bit of time to recognize our trustees and our staff. And so I'd like to invite our trustee, Sam Keto, if you could come on camera and unmute, Sam. And would you introduce our trustees to all of us, Sam?
Yes, I sure will. Thank you. The introduction tonight, the people that are here in person are myself and Valerie Davidson, Sylvia Lang, and Sven Hawkinson. Not able to join us this evening are Oliver Levitt, Georgiana Lincoln, and Albert Kukash. And finally, in memoriam, Morris Thompson, our founding chair, and Al Adams, and Byron Malott. Back to the MC.
Yeah, thank you, Sam, and thank you to our trustees. Sven, you want to turn your camera on real quick and we can just get a good wave from you? Also, we want to introduce, of course, our board chair. Willie, could you turn your camera on real quick so we could see you? There he is. And just so you know, those two cute little ones that we just saw were Willie's grandchildren, Akighqukaaghaq and Pitak. So Ganesh to our trustees, give us good guidance. And they were the ones that actually wanted us to do the Smokehouse Gala, because they wanted to make sure that we created a space to recognize the vast contributions of our Native people. And so that's what the Smokehouse Gala has become. And of course, to name it in honor of Howard Rock and Ted Stevens, who both did so much for Alaska and for our Alaska Native people. Ganesh trustees, thank you so much. Now I want to take a minute to introduce our staff. And as you've already met, Ayu and Shilunantanichkak. And you've also had a chance to see Gutgaidam Hana'a. She'll introduce herself later on as well. She opened us with a blessing. Ayu is from Unalakleet. Shilunantanichkak is from Kodiak. Gutgaidam Hana'a is from Metlakatla in Seattle. And also with us tonight is Watlagiraq, Barbara Blake, who is Haida, Tlingit, and Atna of Heidelberg, Klawak, and Chistachina. And Watlagiraq is our Alaska Native Policy Center Director. Also Tusuk Colin McDonald, who is Yupik of Bethel, and he is our Indigenous Advancement Manager. There's Tasak. Uyurukjak Elizabeth David, who is Yupik from Bethel, and she is our finance director. There's Uyurukjak. Photodathnal Angela Gonzalez, who is with us tonight, but you can't see her because she's actually manning the Facebook live stream for us, but we want to recognize her. And she is Koyukan from Huslia, and she is our Indigenous Communications Manager. I also want to recognize Nungasuk Abrapatkatuk, who is Inupiaq of Akighqukaaghaq, and she is the Special Assistant to the President CEO. And you can't see her, but you will hear her every now and then when we have tech issues. She's our guru for all things Zoom tech. So while we're trying to make it look smooth up here, she's making sure it's smooth behind the scenes. And so we just really appreciate her. We also have a few staff who aren't with us for the live stream tonight, but have been so helpful in making sure this 2-week celebration of the Smokehouse Gala has run smoothly. And so we want to introduce them and recognize them as well. Kunmigu Casey Hobson, who is Inupiaq from Ulugunuk and Akighqukaaghaq. She is our Intergovernmental Affairs Strategist within our Alaska Native Policy Center. Sasuk Elatanuchuk, who is Yupik of Kotlik, and she is our Indigenous Leadership Continuum Coordinator. And we also have 2 special people who are spending a semester with us. They're both in the University of Alaska Clinical Community Psychology program, which one of our awardees is actually, who actually runs it, Dr. E.J. David. And they're spending some really good time with us, and we appreciate their help. Ukilok Tiara Schroeder of Dillingham, and Ziyang Jin. And we just really appreciate their really good hard work. They joined us for Elders and Youth and have been working with us ever since. So we really appreciate their help and their support. So that's our team, and we work statewide together. And, you know, while they're here and while you can see some of their faces, I just want to say for all you do, for the love and for the care that you pour into the work that we do, so we can work side by side with our community and our people. So to all the team. And as we think about what it takes to do this work for our people, it's not a mystery, is it? It's not a mystery because we have so many thousands of years of good teaching about how we should be working together, how we should be holding each other up, how we should be treating one another as a community of people. And these values that make us who we are, well, they're Alaska Native values, and we have and come from diverse people across the state. At the root, they're human values. And so they actually help everyone. So I want to share with all of you a beautiful moment from Elders and Youth this past year, taken during our Warming of the Hands event to begin Elders and Youth and help us put ourselves in the right frame of mind.
We can't hear sound in the sook. Maybe we could rewind it a little
What
bit.
is it? And he goes, Joho 10. Anticipating those feelings. And I think back to my first encounter and meeting with Chief Peter John. And he said, Kutuk, you listen to me. I want you to say this word to me. And I said, what is it? And he goes, Joho 10. You know, and I try to say it. You know, he said, no, you got to say it more back in your throat. So I said it more back in my throat, and Joho 10. And then he goes, there it is. You know, when I tell you that I love you, it's deeper than just the word love. The English word love doesn't get it. When I tell you that I love you, I'm telling you that my ancestors and all the power that comes from them is now in me, and I'm passing it to you with my love. Man, when he said that, my knees got weak, you know, because that's a powerful thing to listen to somebody tell you that. And we say it in our language, "Kun-kam-kun." And so I said it in my language. He said, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. And he was telling me, you know, he was 100 and something years old when I was talking to him. And those were his words that he taught me that I carry with me everywhere I go. And I'm so honored to have spent time and sit with those that have gone before us, you know, Chief Peter John.
Isn't that so beautiful? I really loved sitting and listening to Kutluk. Even when we were preparing for the warming of the hands this year before to kick off elders and youth, and we were visiting on the phone just to get ready for it, I felt like I could just sit and listen to him for hours. Our incredible storytellers really have such a beautiful way of offering gifts to each and every one of us. I love that teaching that Kutluk shared with us. And it reminded me too that, you know, our people know what it's like to persevere through pandemics. There's no one in Alaska who knows more about what it's like to persevere through difficult times than our people. And there's so much wisdom and knowledge in what our cultural teachings and our lived experience can share with us and how to navigate in a good way. And something that I have been very honored by in the past decade that I've been able to work at First Alaskans Institute is to learn from the incredible leadership that is our Board of Trustees. The Alaska Native leaders on our board have done so much to impact the advancement of Alaska Native peoples, and it has made Alaska a better place. And I'm really excited that in honor of their rich experience and all the good advice that they have to share, that we're going to make some space for each of them to share some brief words of encouragement with all of you so that you too can benefit from their rich knowledge. So I'd like to invite Akighqukaaghaq. Lily, if you would like to share first.
Thank you, Ayu. I was just thinking of the many struggles that our people have lived through, no matter where you may be from over the last 10,000 years. We've had to persevere under difficult circumstances, and we have done so. I mean, even those that are literally suffering from tuberculosis. I mean, every community, every family was affected by that disease, and at the same time we had chicken pox, we had measles, we had no facilities, very little medical care, and people persevered. And I really am proud of our staff for actually making the adjustments that we needed to make to carry on our challenge, to communicate with our people, to uplift our people. And we're going to get through this. And I just know that deep within the different cultures, there is a will to survive. And oftentimes we do it in the most difficult circumstances with some humor. And I think that's what it's going to take for us to carry on through this one. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I neglected to mention that Willie is our board chair, if I didn't say that before. At this time, I'd love to invite Valerie Davidson, who is our Secretary Treasurer, to share as well.
Thank you, everybody. Quyanaasinaq to you all for joining us this evening. And you know, IU and Willie are right that it really is a challenging time, and nobody knows more than our own people what the pandemic has done. I'm sitting here tonight. These are my grandparents, my maternal grandparents on my I shouldn't point at them. On my mother's side, my grandmother Tagalog and my appa Akighqukaaghaq, who together had 9 children, and only 4 of them lived, including my mother, who's right here. And one of the lessons that my grandmother taught all of us in our family is that when you lead with love, you'll never stand alone. When you lead with love, you'll never stand alone. And that's really the embodiment of what First Alaskans does and who First Alaskans is as an organization and every individual at First Alaskans. And you know, as the pandemic was really unfolding and the kind of the horror of that began to roll out, people were really looking for to be able to connect with each other. And First Alaskans introduced a Zoom platform that allowed us to be able to not only come together, to share some wisdom, to share some humor, but also some really practical tips of things that we could do to keep ourselves and our families and our communities safe. And you know, we are a strong, strong people. And it's okay if it gets hard from time to time. And if we need to stop what we're doing, take a moment to yourself, cry if you need to. Sometimes those tears are your body's way of handling that stress and releasing it and letting it go, so that you can continue carrying on, because we know that so many of you do so much for everyone in our communities. And no matter what's happening, you're all there for each one of us and for our children and for each other and for our communities. And we just wanted to say to all of you who have joined us tonight, quyanaasinaq, thank you so much for all that you do. This is really incredibly hard work, but it's also really heart work. And we appreciate you all so much. So with that, we're going to just keep on continuing on to make progress for the next 10,000 years. And as far as any technology glitches, considering where we've come from, we're doing great. With that, and I just want to catch up all of you. You all are just so precious and so wonderful. Can come to you. We love you all.
Quyanaasinaq. I'd like to invite Sam Keto Jr., our vice chair.
Thank you for the introduction. I wanted to say just a couple of words and an appreciation for the staff and what the staff has done over the past 8-9 months in keeping the organization pointed in a direction that allows us to service our mission. And wanted to also say that where we have been and where we are going, and you know, there's been no indication of slowing down of the organization as it moves during the course of the 10,000 years of what our goal is, and I do believe that this organization will come out of this COVID-19 in good shape, and looking forward to the end. And it looks like it might be a few months away, but it looks like we're getting closer to finding a solution to the problems that have developed over the past 9 months. So thanks to the staff, and thanks to the audience, and thanks to our honorees this evening. Thank you.
Quyanaasinaq, Sam. Yeah, that's a great reminder. Our people have always adapted. We're among the most adaptive people on the whole planet. That's a great reminder. I'd love to invite Sven Hawkinson.
Hey, Chamai. Hey, I just want to say, hey, Chamai, everybody across Alaska, and I want to thank you for participating and attending the gala. I wish that we were all in person, but it's better than not being able to do anything with you. I was trying to think of powerful words, and both all the previous leaders have already said them, but I'm going to repeat this one. It's Akighqukaaghaq. And my mom told me that. And she says that it's the way she translated it was to take care of that which is sacred within you. And remember that during this time, it is hard. It is hard. Remember to take time out for yourself, to be patient with yourself, and to be patient with those around you, because we're all struggling to get through this very challenging time. But like we have done for thousands of years, we have thrived. Even under the hardest times, we have thrived. And we're now thriving across our state, in our communities. And it's really important for us to protect each other. And doing that, wearing a mask, washing your hands, doing all these things, it helps make sure that our elders are with us. To me, our elders are our most sacred possessions in the world. And it's important to protect them. So remember, even when it does get difficult, even when it gets hard, to stop, take a breath, and remember you're protecting not only yourself, but everybody around you, and especially our elders who are the most vulnerable right now. And yeah, quyanaasinaq.
Quyanaasinaq. Really appreciate that, Sven. Such a good reminder. Last, but certainly not least, from our trustees, Sylvia.
Ganashish. Hello from the Eyak homelands here in Cordova. I'm sitting in my studio because that brought me so much joy in the last few months with this lockdown and not being able to get out as often as one would like. And we can do that. We find our place of joy. And the reason we can do that is because we've always been here. We know where home is. We know what centers us, and we have each other. And I'm not going to take any more of your time because my fellow trustees have really said some wonderful things here tonight and always lifts me up. And I'm very anxious to hear from the awardees. So thank you for joining us, Gunalshish, and onward we go.
Indokshisham, Sylvia, as well as all of our trustees, for your stories and your uplifting words and reminders. You are all good examples of our universal value of taking care of each other, especially during these challenging times. Gatgeram hana duayu simsianu ganhada dipategu will ukshtamadikdu awatgu nigyot stiwot zogu. I am Carla Booth. I am Simsian of the Raven Clan, and my family comes from Metlakatla. It is an honor to be here with everybody in this unceded territory. I'm the director for our Indigenous Leadership Continuum at First Alaskans, and it just always fills my heart when I get the honor of hearing from our Board of Trustees. They all carry so much wisdom, and they're good examples to follow. So another important universal value that we all have is humor. Humor is so important, especially right now. We need to pull that humor out whenever we can. It helps balance the challenging stuff. It helps us get through it. So with that, we've got a video clip that we want to share with you that made us all laugh.
Congratulations. Prize number 2. You're going to win the fry bread package, Costco bag of flour. That's a hot commodity in COVID-19 days. A Costco bag of sugar, tub of Crisco, and a big metal bowl.
No yeast?
What are you using? COVID-19. They don't have it at the store.
They don't.
I like raisins in my fry bread.
I have some, so you guys might as well just send it over here and let us with this one.
I'm ready to trade yeast for dry fish. So dry fish all over. I got some yeast. We'll talk pound for pound. It'll be a good trade.
Well, whoever gets this question right, I'm coming over for some yeastless fry bread.
That was not a bad.
We're always grateful.
Always grateful. Question 2. Can data be shared via?
That was a great video. If you didn't get a chance to watch the census there, I encourage you to go back and watch it. It was so much fun to participate in that. This year's transition to a virtual gala brought us some new challenges. Despite those challenges, our sponsors were there for us and continued to provide their unwavering support. And we are so grateful to them at this time. I'd like to welcome Akighqukaaghaq and unei back to recognize our sponsors.
Oh, goodness, geez, how Melissa. And that fry bread, that piece from the Who Wants to Be a Census Heir, you know, this, besides being a pandemic, it also was the decennial census. So we had all kinds of things coming at us. And that part about the fry bread was just such a good laugh. And there was even a cameo in there from one of our awardees, unei, Lance Twitchell. So that was cool to see. And even though we've gone through all this stuff, even though we've gone through all the pandemic stuff and the census and all these things that we've done, to have to come into a virtual space and work from a virtual space and go to school from a virtual space, like Silouan Tanishkak shared, our sponsors have really been there for us, and we really want to take just a minute to name them and thank them for their support. And so I'll ask Willie if he wants to start, and then we'll just go back and forth through the list.
Okay, a big kuyana to the elder group that supported us, Chukluk. The first one is GCI. They're there for us. Thank you very much. And Alaska Airlines with that big Inupiaq face on their tail. We love that airline. Thank you. And the next one on the list of elder supporters is Sanoski, Chambers, Saxe, Anderson, and Perry. They've been involved in legal issues of great consequence in the Native community. Thank you very much. And then again, we have ConocoPhillips. Thank you, ConocoPhillips. You've been around a long, long time. And I just remember that Phillips Petroleum was headed up by a Cherokee, chairman of the board, W.W. Keeler. So thank you very much for your support.
Yeah, Konishchish. And I'd like to thank Konishchish Hawa to our Wewak, our sibling sponsors, Bristol Bay Native Corporation, Sea Alaska, Alaska Permanent Capital Management, Saltchuk, Cook Inlet Tribal Council, South Central Foundation, Landy Bennett Bloomstein, and Chugach Alaska Corporation. I want to teach so much for your support.
And the next group is Iluwak, our cousin group. And in that we have Alaska Pipeline Service Company, a great outfit, used to work for them. Central Council of Tlingit and Haida tribes, They were the only ones that had money when we started AFN along with Tyonek back then. Thank you, Tlingit Haida. North Rim Bank, Siri Foundation. Thank you, Veronica Slager and quyanaasinaq.
And next, I'd like to say Koyana as well to our unei friends, our friends, Nicole Hollingsted, Nakush Carlo, Heather Parker, Kevin and Melanie Bahnke, one of our awardees, Nancy Barnes, Teresa Persinger, Margaret Nikolai, Reed Magdans, Emily Tyrell, who is part of our FAI family and is now over at the Alaska Native Heritage Center, Emily, and of course Jacqueline Schaefer, who is one of Willie's relatives, huh, Willie?
Yes, nephew, niece. Sorry.
So so much to all of our sponsors. We could not do this without you. In our Tlingit language, we say and my brother Lyle James likes to say in our language, it means we could not have done this without you. So we really appreciate it. Any other words, Willie?
I don't have any other words. It's just that we're just so thankful that our supporters have come through again, because we know these are difficult times, and so it means a great deal to our community to have this support, and we appreciate it very, very much.
Yeah, thank you, Willie, and thanks to all our sponsors.
I just wanted to mention, as we were reading the sponsors, that we had a few other folks who just donated as we were acknowledging our sponsors. Chaya Ish, or Richard Peterson, president of Tlingit and Haida, Ha'a Gunesh Chish. We also had Joe Nelson, our brother Kahugu, and our sister Valerie Davidson, who also matched Chaya Ish in his contribution of $500. So we're so thankful for all of you. Wafalgirak Hinedikiang, Barbara Blake, Ya'atsatai Hinedikiang. Hello, everyone. My name is Wafalgirak, or Barbara Blake. I come to you currently from Dazanta Kahini, otherwise known as Juneau. I am Yak Janas, Raven from the Shark House, and I'm so thankful to be with everybody this evening. At this time, we'd like to also acknowledge some other contributors to the state of Alaska. As you know, this is the Ted Stevens and Howard Rock Smokehouse Gala. And it's named after both of those gentlemen because of the contributions both of them have made to the state of Alaska. We're so thankful for their contributions. And at this time, we'd like to play a short video to acknowledge them.
As an Alaska Native leader, did so many things. I mean, I could go on and on for days about his accomplishments, but one of the things that he did at a really critical time in our history was to tell our story from our perspective.
The little newspaper, the Thunder Times, didn't have a very large circulation, maybe 3,500, but it went to all the politicians and all the administrators and key people. And it also was a medium of communication for us around the state at the time, because we didn't have television, we didn't have computers. And so the Mail and the Thunder Times was it. And Howard was a unifier. He wasn't a flag waver. He used reason. So he was a key person when we needed a medium for communication.
Many of the programs that exist in our communities were funded by Ted Stevens, by Senator Stevens, or Uncle Ted, as everybody calls him, whether it's the Alaska Tribal Health Compact or a host of other programs, the Denali Commission, so many other things. He provided the resources that folks needed to have their dreams and their hopes be achieved.
Yeah, we worked together off and on for, over 50 years, because we served in the State House together. then he got appointed to the U.S. Senate when Senator Bartlett died, and so we began to interact with him there. And at first, I was a little leery about him because he was appointed by Wally Hickel, with whom we were battling tooth and tongue over the land freeze. But in the end, it all sort of came together. I mean, you can't go anywhere in Alaska without finding something that Ted Stevens did, and I think we will always remember him for the work that he has done.
The smokehouse is a
for that wonderful video of Ted Stevens and Howard Rock. I do want to give an additional shout out to a few folks who have come in to match Chaya or President Peterson's challenge to everyone for the $500 donations. We've had a few other folks who've donated since then. So Melissa Emo, thank you. Susan Anderson, Mark Trahant, and Janie, so thankful for your generosity and so thankful for your contribution to our community. We're just beyond thankful and grateful for all of the contributions that have been coming in. As you know, that these contributions come to First Alaskans, but it's not us that you're donating to. You're donating to our community, to the voice of our people. You're donating for self-determination of our communities. You're donating for the legacy of the Indigenous population of Alaska, and we're so thankful for that. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge that legacy with a short video of our youth keynote from this year. These young people who continue to speak up for our communities and continue to speak out are our next generation of leadership, and we're so thankful for their voices because they are so important for the future.
Growing up, my mom instilled in me to never let someone tell me that I was not Native enough. That is a phrase that has stuck with me my whole life and continues to stick with me. When given the opportunity to speak at elders and youth, it was the first thing that I thought of. This is something that is very important to me and for all of you, because blood quantum is a system set up to erase the Indigenous people. Currently, over 60% Alaskan Natives within the Gulf are under the 1/4 blood quantum. Culture and identity branch from practices, language, and tradition. It gives a sense of purpose and belonging. For culture to survive, it must have the ability to pass on knowledge to future generations. With blood quantum slowly terminating the next generation of Indigenous people, it will eliminate the culture and traditions of our people. Blood quantum is the amount of Native blood you have. The blood quantum laws, or the blood quantum was created by the BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, but was used since the colonization of Indigenous people to bleed out the savage. The question I ask all of you is why? Why does the government want to erase our culture? Why does the government want to get rid of the Native populations? Why have they removed our history from American textbooks? Will the government want their culture erased? Many members of the Alaskan Native community are deeply concerned with the growing numbers of young tribal members who are unable to hunt or utilize marine mammals. Hunting marine mammals, proper hide preparation, and skin sewing are essential components to Alaskan Native culture. These skills are passed down from generation to generation and are crucial to our culture. Federal regulations are trying to criminalize us for participating in these traditions, even though it's a skill that has been passed down for thousands of years.
I got goosebumps all over again listening to Kylie. It was so powerful what she offered the youth keynote during our Elders and Youth Conference this year. You know, the example and the leadership of incredible leaders like Ted Stevens and Howard Rock lives on powerfully in our youth, and their voices are strong and their energy is incredible. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to Kylie and to our elder keynote, Trimble Gilbert, as well as our other incredible presenters during the Elders and Youth Conference, we would like to encourage you to check that out. It's on our First Alaskans Institute YouTube page. It's absolutely worth every moment. It is really one of our favorite times of year. Something I'd like to say as I invite Akighqukaaghaq to join me is that the Howard Rock family and the Ted Stevens family and foundation have been such strong supporters of First Alaskans Institute ever since the founding of this gala. And I'd like to invite Willie to join me to help extend our appreciation to them for that continued support. Willie, are you there?
I am here, but somebody needs to put me on. They have stopped my face. But
hi, Sam.
Okay, thank you, Quyanaasinaq. Yes, well, you know, our Howard Rock and Ted Stevens gala, to me, and I think to many, many people, it's like the highlight of gala season. We have, you know, in the past here in Anchorage, and we are so fortunate because there are two symbols, you know, of Alaskan history, and we're fortunate that Howard Rock and his family has allowed us to utilize him as a vehicle and as a symbol, you know, of someone who is very talented and very committed, and also Senator Stevens, who has played such a gigantic role in the evolution of Alaska to what it is now. And there's not a life that has not been touched by his work. And, you know, the infrastructure and institutions that we have, I mean, you know, our very entity that we have here, you know, is a consequence of the political struggles of the past that allowed us to have the resources, you know, to have an organization like the First Alaskans Institute. And so we're very, very thankful that, you know, both families have allowed us to do this, and we appreciate that very, very much.
Yes, quyanaasinaq very much, Willie. And with that, it's time to lift up the incredible awardees that our trustees have chosen for this year. And so I would like to invite our sister Akighqukaaghaq to please join me, and please introduce yourself and our first awardee.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth David. My Yupik name is Akighqukaaghaq. I'm Yupik. I'm from Bethel. I serve as the finance director at First Alaskans, and my mom is Dora David from Bethel. My grandmother is Annie David. My grandfather is Nicholas David, and I am happy to be here, and I'm calling from Fairbanks from the interior, and so grateful to be here. I am going to introduce our Ted Stevens Award. And with the Friends of First Alaskans Ted Stevens Award is given to a person that has shown through their support of Native issues and partnership with our common cause that are friends of the Alaska Native community. And this year, it is our distinct honor to recognize Dr. E.J.R. David with this award.
Yes, quyanaasinaq, sister. You know, with the shift to the virtual environment, we have a pretty beautiful opportunity to share more of our awardees than we've been able to in the past. If you haven't had an opportunity to get to know Dr. E.J. David and his family, you're in for a treat. To help you get just a flavor of his amazingness, we would like to show you a short clip of some of his work.
Or you can choose to be out.
lance you choose, though, please don't choose to be silent. Don't choose to do nothing. Make noise. Speak up. Make something happen. Be useful. I'm a Filipino immigrant, and I understand my peoples are settlers on these lands. Although my peoples were also subjected to colonialism, racism, imperialism, oppression, I understand that we are not indigenous to these lands. And so me and my people, we need to understand that we now live on stolen indigenous lands that were built on the backs of enslaved Black people. And so I call on my fellow immigrants, and white people are included in this because y'all are the largest immigrant group in this country. Now we must make sure we don't merely become tools for the continued erasure and oppression of indigenous peoples and Black people. We must not be complicit to the continued subjugation of our indigenous and Black relatives.
I wish we could show the whole video. Like I said, if you haven't had an opportunity to get to know Dr. E.J. Ardavid and his work, you absolutely should. It's worth it. It's eye-opening. It will change your life. It's been such an honor to be in this work with you, brother. That clip actually, I just want to mention that clip came from the I Can't Breathe rally that happened early in the summer, organized by our sister Jasmine Smith. So at this time, I would like to cue our awardee video.
Dr. David has provided untiring efforts to Alaska's Native people on behalf of racial equity. We are so proud for him and his family.
EJ serves as an active member of the Visionary Council of our Alaska Native Dialogues on Racial Equity, and he continues to be involved in our work. It was actually EJ's idea and efforts, including drafting, testifying, and gathering support that led to both the municipality of Anchorage and the state of Alaska officially recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day in lieu of Columbus Day.
EJ shows up. He always shows up, not only for his own people, but he shows up for Indigenous peoples. He shows up for peoples of color. And he does it in ways that inspire collective action.
The idea of being personal about these issues. So not trying to address these community ills sort of from this distant professional place, but remembering that we're in this together.
It's because of work by EJ that so many people across the country, as well as here in Alaska, have had a better chance to understand what it means to be committed to racial equity.
When there's challenges and there's high tension and there's uncertainty and confusion, EJ consistently is a voice of reason, a bridge of hopefulness, and a bridge to a level of community education and awareness that is making a difference today for our lives and for our children tomorrow.
His work in Alaska is important because it also allows us to have a dialogue, not only with each other, but with the non-Native community in a way that allows them to understand the challenges we face every day.
EJ's work in this area has been truly meaningful because we use it all the time to help people break that down and then be able to start thinking about how do we actually shape and create a racially equitable world. And those are the kinds of shapers that we need more.
He is a true ally. It's interesting that EJ is also the first non-white recipient of this award, and he really exemplifies the non-Native members of our community that become family and really share our responsibility to uplift and contribute to our Alaska Native community in the best possible way.
I have been locked by the lawless, handcuffed by the haters, gagged by the greedy, and if I know anything at all, it's that a wall is just a wall and nothing more at all, and it can come down. This is a passage from Assata Shakur's autobiography. And when I think of you, dear brother, I think of walls coming down. I think of chains being broken. I am so thankful for your work and how it is centered on liberation for all people. I love how you love our people. The passion in your work reverberates through our community and the world at large, and it will long precede you. Thank you for all that you do. I am honored to know you as my brother, as my friend, and I love being connected to you and doing work in the community.
Alaska is a better place because of you and all that you've done. Maraming salamat. Quyanaasinaq.
Thank you and congratulations. There is no one more deserving of this award.
Congratulations to Dr. E.J. David, who is the recipient of this year's Friends of First Alaskans Ted Stevens Award. Nutdanadam.
Beautiful. Over here getting all choked up. At this time, I would love to invite our brother, EJ, to share some words with all of us. Quyanaasinaq.
Wow. Wow. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Mayap Abengi, ing Lagyoko, ang pangalan ko ay EJ Ramos David. Yaing Induko, ang nanay ko ay si Leonora Manarang Ramos David. Yaing Impako, ang tatay ko ay si Leonardo Mercado David. Ako ay Kapampangan at Tagalog. Pinanganak ako sa Pilipinas. Ang aking unang wika ay Tagalog. Nakatira ako ngayon sa Alaska, sa bayan ng mga Denaina, Akighqukaaghaq. Koh dakhli seuza sa giidoy dalno beuza sa denaka beklihulan malakas yeh neknahutno kalayaan yeh huzon sa koho oy kaluguran yeh nadoyadio tala hebauz denaka hero hodegee base. I just introduced myself and my parents in our Kapampangan and Tagalog languages. And I also introduced my wife and children in their Danaka language. They are Koyukon from the village of Ruby. I am still learning Danaka, and thank you for being patient with me. I'm deeply honored by this recognition from my First Alaskans family. I know the award is called Friends of First Alaskans, but to me, I really do consider you family. In my Tagalog language, you are my kapwa. Maraming salamat. Dakala salamat. Thank you. When I was notified of this award, first of all, I was in shock for days. But then I began thinking about the things that I did that may have contributed to me getting this award. And while I am proud of all that work, one thing became very clear to me when I thought of them. I was never alone in any of that work. I came from a culture of we, not a culture of me. And I was never alone in anything that I've been able to accomplish and reach in my life. I wouldn't be where I'm at in my life now. I wouldn't be receiving this award without my ancestors, my community, and my people being with me along the way, pushing me forward when I'm weak, holding me up when I'm defeated, hyping me up when I'm scared, celebrating with me when I succeed, but also keeping it real with me, popping my balloon head and keeping me grounded when I get too full of myself, especially my wife and my kids man, do they keep me grounded. Whenever I start feeling like a big shot, my wife and kids are always there to make fun of me and make me the brunt of their jokes. So, you know, and for that, I love them so much. And speaking of community, in my Tagalog culture, we have a concept called bayanihan, which is when the community comes together to accomplish something big, difficult, seemingly impossible. The root word is bayani, which in Tagalog means hero. But it's important to note that in my Tagalog culture, unlike the Western understanding of hero, a bayani or hero is not someone who stands out and rises above the rest. The concept of bayanihan teaches us that a hero is someone who works in collaboration with, in harmony with, and in solidarity with the rest of the community. The bayanihan concept teaches us that no one person can accomplish, you know, something big, difficult, and seemingly impossible on their own. Bayanihan teaches us that to be heroes, all of us must step up and work together. Bayanihan teaches us that being a hero is not about being a rare, lone savior. Instead, Bayanihan teaches us that there's a role and place for all of us in this work, and that all of us can be heroes. And that's what I want to share with you all here tonight. Given our current climate, we are especially ripe for a racial reckoning right now. This work is extremely difficult, heartbreaking, and exhausting. There will be many times when you will feel lost, hopeless, and defeated. It will be a big fight. It will feel insurmountable. It will seem impossible. But remember, Bayanihan, you're not doing this alone. You have your entire community. You have your ancestors. You have all of us. And we are all heroes. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, brother. Thank you so much, quyanaasinaq, for bringing your ancestors and your family's languages into our space. Our space is stronger for it. And quyanaasinaq, for all that you do. The work that we've been able to do together and the work that we have done has been so heavily influenced by your brilliance, your heart, your energy, and your passion. And the work that we do at First Alaskans Institute will never be the same. And it's so much better with your influence. It really is such an honor to walk alongside you in this fight for justice, in this fight for equity. Quyanaasinaq, brother, we love you so much. At this time, I would like to invite our sister Kapampangan to transition us into our next award.
Gotta wipe my tears, get ready for more tears. The First Alaskans Institute Young Native Leader Award is given to a young leader who has shown through dedication that they are working to help Native peoples and our community with significant and profound purpose. This year, it is our distinct honor to recognize Dr. Unei Lance Twitchell with this award.
What's the quote of the year? You're on mute, 2020. As we were able to do with EJ, it's our pleasure to be able to share just a little bit of Dr. Unei's brilliance with all of you. And so we have a special clip to share.
Ye owe ades panugu ye khatu nigu ku in gach to sener ko a we to nigu ego ay khwan
Qaqqukaaghaq te katjuhan. Hata chankisani ya akawayandik yegachtisane. Quas niukdeen yuch ayikek. De awa. Way tunate yach yuchatangi away he huach sati. Ka niuk away tuchte cookie good, cookwatte good de. Eka at away kusachan. At sati aya tishaan. Was kusachan katishaan da yuch aytan. Ko Akighqukaaghaq. Kes ayach away. Kes quyanaasinaq. Ye awe ach I wudidle tu. Ach tu asibuke hagachlitsini. Achawe adagyo kakkwatan.
That is an excerpt from Dr. Unei's dissertation defense. You can find it on his YouTube page. I highly recommend checking it out. It's 2 hours and it's worth every single minute. At this time, we would like to queue up our awardee video for Dr. Unei.
Dr. Lance Twitchell has been chosen as the recipient of the Young Alaska Native Leader Award. And we are so proud to recognize Dr. Twitchell for his deep focus and success on the Tlingit language and other indigenous languages. At a time when our languages are under stress, Dr. Twitchell has provided leadership and an example of what can be done to revitalize our languages. He is a teacher, a researcher, and an advocate at a time when we needed someone like him.
Unei advocated through testimony and a variety of collective actions for the state to officially recognize the 20 Alaska Native languages in 2014 and to declare a state of linguistic emergency in 2018 to really call the attention of the history of suppression of our language, all of our languages, and reconciliation efforts that must be put in place for us to heal.
Lance has dedicated his life to language revitalization and has been the epitome of a true warrior.
When people say, your language will be gone by this date, or when people say, the things that you're doing just can't be done, he's the one that says, well, why can't they be done? Feels as though we should do those things. It feels as though that those are the things that our ancestors would want us to do.
He's made it possible not only for me to learn the language directly through him, but he's also ensured that his teachings are perpetuated in all generations. My mom has been learning Tlingit from the works of Unei. My children have been learning Tlingit from the works of Unei.
It was impressive for not only how he brought in the students, but how he used Tlingit to lift them up, lift their spirits up, lift who they are as Tlingit people up in a way that shows the power of language.
That sleeping giant that is our Tlingit language will never have to go back to sleep. That giant will continue to live on because people like Unei, Lance Twitchell have dedicated their lives to ensuring that that our culture will never ever go to sleep again.
He's a living treasure to our community, to our tribe, and to our people. Congratulations, Lance. You deserve every bit of recognition.
The world around us is now a better place and shaped differently because of the work that you've continued to do. And for that, I wished my grandmother was here today to be able to see all the work that you've accomplished. and all the lives that you've touched. Because I know that she'd be very, very proud of you. Yeah.
Congratulations, Kune, on this award. It recognizes your hard work and your contributions to all that we are as Native people.
I'm so grateful for us being able to not only recognize you, but to say thank you, quyanaasinaq, in our language.
Hune, on behalf of the First Alaskans Institute Board of Trustees, we congratulate you for receiving our First Alaskans Institute Young Native Leader Award. Nutdanadam.
So beautiful. My grandma used to say, you know, try to live your life in such a way that when people talk about you and you're not around, that they have good things to say. And I got all choked up just listening to the beautiful words of your family and your community, Hune. At this time, I would love to invite you to come on and share some words with us as well.
Akighqukaaghaq. Tlingit shawel to cut you on. Yeah, wish to the nuke. Ya achtu yak a. Qusakhan achgt yish to cut you on. Ya achshatcha achyetki. Shatzin achgt has na teach. Ya hasu. Ya achko atlatuku. Achlilko has. Ya has to ya ak owe adat you tuchtatan. Ya had the chankian. Ye awa Akighqukaaghaq. Akighqukaaghaq. Qatsukaqquaq awe tlakatiuhan. Ye awe ach tuye yeti gunilchish. Tlachunach ach tuyake. I am very honored and thankful for this opportunity and for my friends and relatives who would share such wonderful, wonderful words. I'm at a bit of a loss as far as what to say. My name is Hune. I am Kigani Haida, Shukach Adi Tlingit, Yupik, and Sami. I'm so thankful for my wife, Mariah, and our 3 kids who are bilingual children, Khalkhis, and Shawatke, and Khadja. And I'm very honored to share this time with EJ and with Melanie. My kids also keep me humble. They said, wait, you won a youth leadership award? So no, it's a young leadership award. I want to thank the trustees and the staff of First Alaskans Institute. I want to thank my elders, my teachers. I'm thinking about King Gesti, David Katzig right now. I'm thinking of Shkate, Jesse Johnny. I'm thinking of people who gave me the ability to stand up for our languages. I think of Nora Marks Dowenhauer, who said, it's just going to be you, not another person. So when they would tell me things like that, then sometimes I would feel the moment when something had to happen. And I just want to say, don't wait for the moment to pass you by, and be a good person, be kind, and be respectful, and give everybody the space that they need to overcome. When we bring our languages back to a safe place, we're really looking a lot of genocide and violence right in the face, and we're pushing away from it. A lot of Indigenous organizations have supported me, allowed me to get some degrees. I'm thankful to the University of Minnesota, to the University of Alaska, and to Kahakaula Okeilakilani College of Hawaiian Language. I'm thankful for a supportive and loving community, for students who show me courage every day to just try and communicate in languages that are so complex and rich, and they echo the brilliance of our ancestors. I think of Ish, who just kept saying, our language is echoing back. And I'm thankful for colleagues who say yes, and, as opposed to, yeah, but we can't do that. I'm thankful for my grandparents who survived the storms, who overcame their addictions, who loved fiercely, who stood when they needed to. I think of my grandmother who told me a story when she first went to Skagway. Her name was Shtuwachsi, Dorothy Dennis. And they tried to make her sit in the back of this theater. And she stood up to them. And she just sat right where she wanted to sit, asked elders to come sit by her. And I just want to say to any young people out there, or to anyone, if you're feeling hopeless these days, to just reach out. We cannot afford to lose anybody. So this is not our first pandemic, and this is how we emerge. No one stands alone. No one stands in front of the people. We move like a pod, a pack, a flock. We braid ourselves up like rope. The ones of long ago are ancient and eternal ancestors. They cleared the path. They found a way to survive horrible genocides. Our future generations, the seeds and the remains of our grandparents, we hold them up. We offer them everything we have and can find. Together, we shine a light. Together, we are a light. Thank you for this time and for the recognition. I encourage you all to fight racism, reject patriarchal superiority, reject white superiority, embrace Indigenous excellence, align yourself with movements of equity, and do all you can to ensure cultural safety. Much love to all of you.
Quyanaasinaq. Thank you so much, Unei. I didn't mention before this, but Unei is also an alum of our First Nations Futures program and just has so many brilliant ways of helping us put our lived reality in perspective. You know, Alaska was celebrating, I think it was 150 years or something like that. Lots of celebrations around the state. And he created the graphic that was is it the sesquidecimillennial? Over 10,000 years. That graphic was really beautiful. And quyanaasinaq for all that you do, Unei. Because of efforts of yourself and so many others, our children will never know a time without our language. I would like to invite my sister Akighqukaaghaq to come on and help us to uplift our next awardee.
It's quite an honor to uplift this next awardee, the Howard Rock Alaska Native Leader Award. This person has shown through their quality of character and effort to be a leader of distinct caliber because they put their community and people before themselves. This year, we are honored to recognize the dedication and life's work of Melanie Bahnke.
At this time, we would like to cue up a video to help you get to know our Melanie just a little bit more.
In here or not, our community is very diverse, and we're not just some confusion, like I said, around who is allowed in here or not. Our community is very diverse, and we're not stranger to having difficult conversations. We're about 50% Alaska Native and 50% non-Native. Our population is 18 or under. Our region's population is 50% 18 years and under. So we've got a real interest in children. And I appreciate that you're a former educator and you're also a father. There's a saying, when in Rome, and so I'd like to use that. So when in Nome, the protocol typically is not to be exclusive of who's allowed to come and access our elected officials. I'm sure we've got a good variety of Democrats and Republicans in here, but Typically, when people come to know our political leaders, there isn't this question around who's allowed in and who's allowed to address you. So my suggestion is that you come back, it's an invitation, and COREC would fund you. We would not be exclusive. I also, in terms of your process for allowing us to only address you through these cards, if you want to truly have a dialogue, that's not the way to go about it. That's not how we typically do things here in Nome. I think
that clip comes from a meeting where the governor and team had traveled to Nome seeking input on their budget. And as you can see, Melanie was ensuring that he knew what the local protocols are and also how to ensure that Alaskans have access to have a say in the decisions that impact us most. With that, I would love to cue our awardee video to Love Up Melanie.
As chair of the First Alaskan Institute Board, I am proud on behalf of our board and staff to honor Melanie Akighqukaaghaq Bahnke on her selection as Alaska Native Leader, Howard Rock Award. She's been the president of Quyanaasinaq and has been a rock of strength for the region. She's not only been a leader in a region, but for the entire state as well, through her work with the redistricting committee, as well as helping to shine a light on Arctic issues internationally. Melanie has focused her life on family, on service, and on education. Melanie, we are so proud to honor you with this award.
As I think about the issues that Melanie's worked on, whether it's been the Alaska Tribal Child Welfare Compact or the challenges around Real ID and making sure that there's equity and equal opportunity for Alaska Native people and rural people living off the road system to have access to state services, or looking to compact with tribes and figuring out how to strengthen meaningful consultation with tribes in Alaska. Melanie has always been at the forefront.
She very respectfully addressed the governor and let him know that he really should consider ensuring the next time he came to Nome that there was more opportunity for the community's voices to be heard, and that people had a chance to approach him and share with him their concerns.
And she stood not for herself, she stood for the people of Nome, for the Native people of Nome, for the Native people of Alaska.
Being able to go from one side of the corporate structure into the community and seeing how well she manages and carries that within her life. That sense of community, that sense of our people, our voices.
She's always willing to really extend her hand out and mentor people who are coming up alongside her.
Her leadership and advocacy helped to create the Alaska Tribal Child Welfare Compact, the first compact of its kind in these United States of America.
She advocates with and for our people. She uses her voice to ensure that decisions being made for us include us.
And to really say who she is, my husband died just about a year ago, and February 14th was rolling forward, and the thought of Valentine's Day was going to be a very tough day. And when I came into my office, there were beautiful flowers on my desk, and it was from Melanie and Kevin saying that they knew Mel would have sent them if he was there to do it. And that's who she is. She's a spectacular person. She's a rare person, a brave and courageous and compassionate person. And Alaska is so lucky to have her. And Melanie, you so deserve this award. And we're all behind you, have your back, rooting for you, and can't wait to see everything else you're going to do.
Melanie, one of the things that I cherish about you is the love that you have for your people. It shines through in everything that you are. And your advocacy comes from a place of deep love.
We are so proud to not only recognize her, but her community and her culture.
Mel, on behalf of the First Alaskans Institute Board of Trustees, we congratulate you on your well-deserved selection as our Alaska Native Leader Howard Rock Awardee. Congratulations. Nut Danatam.
Beautiful. Melanie, you're a treasure. This time I would love to invite you to come on screen with us to accept your award and share.
First, I'd like to introduce my biggest supporters, my Bahnke, Ivy, my Bahnke, Allison, my husband, Kevin, my mother, Sterling, and not here with me to accept this honor is my son, Joshua Akighqukaaghaq, who's working for the Alaska Native Heritage Center in Anchorage. And I'm so proud of him following in my footsteps and probably leaving bigger tracks than I have are the plans for him. Thank you. I wanted to start with that because when Liz called and informed me of this award and told me I needed to get a picture, and I didn't realize I didn't think to include my family. And if you look at the other awardees, they included their family in their pictures. I took a bathroom selfie, I'll be honest. So that picture that is featured on First Alaskans website is literally a bathroom selfie. We don't have really much access to professional photographers, but it made me realize I do need to schedule a nice photo opportunity with my family. They are my biggest supporters. Also not here are my fathers, Arnold Lonergan and George Edwards, my other brother, Invit, and his family in Savunga, so many aunties and uncles and cousins, and my huge extended family, my village, Sivungaq. It does really take a village to raise a child. And although we didn't grow up financially rich, I feel like I am the wealthiest person culturally for having been raised in Sivungaq, Savunga. So, Sivulit Alaska Hamid. Thank you so much, First Alaskans. When Liz called me, I think she sent me an email or a text and said she wanted to have a Zoom meeting with me. And I thought, oh, Liz is going to rope me into some project, but I can never say no to her. There's some people I can never say no to. Diane Kaplan is one. Liz Medicine Crow is another, because I know that whatever they're going to have me get involved in is going to be meaningful and impactful. And so I thought Liz was calling to talk to me about a project. And then when Willie Hensley popped up on my Zoom screen, I thought, oh no, what have I done? He's going to nunuk me, ariok me for something. And when they told me that I had been selected for this award, I was in disbelief. I almost asked for a recount of the vote of the trustees. No, I'm just kidding. I was truly speechless. And those of you who know me, I'm not usually at a loss for words. I don't fall short on words when it comes to standing up for what's right, for our issues, for our people. And my husband would tell you that I'm never short on words when we're having a disagreement. But this recognition, this award has left me speechless. Because recognition, individual recognition is something else. It's not really it's almost foreign to our people because everything that we do is done together. I come from a whaling society, and you never hear of one person individually landing a whale. It takes a whole crew, and not even one crew individually can do all the work. Other crews come alongside the crew that has successfully landed the whale, and they all work together. It takes hours to haul the whale back to town, and the whale feeds our community and other communities beyond, but you never hear of just one individual person saying, I landed a whale. It always is a crew. And this is the same when it comes to this beautiful award. I'm viewing it as for all of us who are doing this work, for the leadership at quyanaasinaq, my quyanaasinaq board of directors, my co-workers at quyanaasinaq, and all the other crews out there, all the other entities, the individuals doing this good work. This award truly is for us. Working together, we're not only going to overcome this existing pandemic, but also we're going to defeat the cultural pandemic that we have been enduring for the last over 100 years. I truly believe that. Yupik to the trustees of the First Alaskans Institute and the staff who do day in and day out are doing this work, and especially to my sister, Liz Medicine Crow. When I was new to my position at quyanaasinaq, she invited me to a dialogue up in Kotzebue, and there were incredible people who were there, like Willie Hensley, and it really helped ground me as I was just getting started on this path of the leadership position that I had stepped into at quyanaasinaq. And I'm so grateful for that. I felt like I kind of got turned in the right direction, the right path. And I've never felt alone in doing this work. We lift each other up. You've lifted me up so high, up into the clouds today. I can't even, like I said, I'm almost speechless. For all of you statewide who do this work, to leave Alaska a better place than when we entered it. I'm so proud to march alongside you. This is really our collective work. And my mother, when she found out that I was selected for this award and the title of the award, Howard Rock, she told me that my grandfather, Jerry Wangatullin Sr., when he was the mayor of Savunga, used to write articles in to submit for Howard Rock. And I thought, wow, we're coming full circle. For me to be receiving an award in his name, my grandfather would have just been tickled because he did know him and used to write letters and articles into him. So what an honor and a privilege, and I'm just humbled and so grateful to you all for this recognition. And like I said, I view it as a recognition for our collective efforts. Thank you so much. I love you all.
Melanie, so like you to share your award, as our other awardees have, with your family and community. We know that we're stronger together and that we're stronger collectively. That was so beautiful. You know, my grandpa was a founding member of quyanaasinaq. And I know that he would be so proud of your leadership in the ways that you bring not only our region together and strengthen our region by uplifting the voices of our people. You make Alaska better. Alaska is a better place for your leadership. Quyanaasinaq. Lagunai and I would like to ask all three of the awardees to come back on, and we'd like to invite our trustees and our staff to turn on your cameras as well.
I'm going to try to get through this without completely breaking down, because I've been crying behind the screen of my laptop listening to each of you, to hear the community tell you why you matter so much to us. But I want to share what I heard you say. Don't be silent. Be useful. Speak your language and push away from genocide. No one individual lands a whale. It takes all of us working together. It is as if the three of you gave your awards to all of us, to our whole community, to the state of Alaska. If that's not the most like you thing to do, always giving. And we know that that comes from your people. So we look to you and we see beyond you. We see your family and your children. We see your community, your clans. We see your ancestors. And like was shared earlier, when you say you love us, when we say we love you, it's that ancestral word. It's that ancestral love that we're sharing. And each of you exemplify that. And if no one ever met you and just heard you speak tonight, they would know why you are the recipients of the Howard Bach and Ted Stevens Awards. So on behalf of all of us, we love you. For all you do, and congratulations. This is the new way, this is the new clapping, right? The new clapping on Zoom, so we can show you how much we love you. Your folks are so wonderful. And I thank Sven, our trustee Sven, who's been our camera, our photographer the whole time, taking screenshots of everyone so we could capture these moments as best we can. And so on behalf of all of us, thank you guys once again. We love you so much.
Quyan, I have to tell you something funny. Ivy just said, why did you make Auntie Liz cry?
You better tell her, her mom made me cry. EJ made me cry. Kune made me cry. Thank you guys so much.
Can we please have our three awardees keep your cameras on so we can get screenshots, photos of the three of you, and then we'll come back on.
And can you hold up your awards too so we could get a picture of you guys with your awards? Thank you guys so much. Love you. I'm going to try to get my act together now as we move on with the program. Love you guys so much. So I want to read that again just to help us hear that one more time, to share their poetry that they just gave to all of us.
Can you start my video?
No, Tasak will mute you too, Sam. Don't be silent, be useful. Speak your language and push away from genocide. No one individual lands a whale. It takes all of us working together. Now that is good instruction for all of us to remember as we keep doing this work. So Chish once again to our awardees. And that sets such a good tone for our next moment that we want to share with all of you, which is a special recognition that we call a tribute, our Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation Tribute. Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation is an endeavor that First Alaskans Institute is a part of, and it speaks to creating the space for the truth to be told, to righting wrongs, and to transforming Alaska into the place that we all know is possible. To quote our sister Alexana Salmon from Akighqukaaghaq, she said, "We don't have to try to guess at what we're going towards. We already know, because we come from perfection." Over 10,000 years, Alaska Native people have stewarded our homelands and taken care of Alaska. And so truth, racial healing, and transformation is an endeavor to create those spaces so that the truth can be told, so that we can heal, and so that we can create a future our children deserve. And our trustees, as they were deciding on our awardees, they also took note of the time that we're in, that this pandemic has created a moment where we are all on our screens so much, and that we are, even though we thought we were mass consuming media before the pandemic, now that we've all been living in it for 9 months, it has been really palpably felt by all of us as Native people, the significant contribution of 3 amazing media makers and influencers. And so the trustees talked about this, and they wanted us to shine a light on these 3 incredible media influencers. So this is our Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation tribute to these 3. And Nungasuk, you're going to share the screen. There's Chish. Oh, can't hear it.
River flows here to lead a few. Heartbeats compete, proceed in this speech, reaching you. I plead to feed you things you need additionally, like fireweed, medicinally beautiful. I believe we achieve greater things after we've risen from the valley and rallied together to conceive a new future. A new Eve, no tweet for FB rant to it. I'm brief. It says misconceiving is the common theme in this. So social media this. So give it up for the truth seekers, courageous and brave, bearing it all. Truth speakers, good troublemaking John Lewis, youth leaders getting in that booth, voting on the ballot. You need to make moves, read more, stay informed. I implore you to live your life with something you stand for. This is a call for you to be a warrior. This is a call for you to be a warrior. Yeah. This is a call for you to be a warrior. Be a warrior. A warrior. I've gotten caught in a constant thought about inequalities, because part of me that fought for the war begotten by Bin Laden sees democracy, fought with a lot of ruptures and hypocrisies and policies, combating the native populace and sovereignty. On top of these, choking shock by cops, you got mahogany, pigment innocence don't matter if you black and brown only. Why temperatures are rising, science, climatology is disputed by unsuited ignoramuses, bureaucracies. The other part of me knows I got power undeniably inside of me. Is this visible body, my spirit's bigger than these balls. I got balls, and yeah, you might have ovaries. You might pray with Chuck Mala, miss my heart, rosaries. No, the beat, no, there's no thing, no act, nobody over me except created, glowing in the light, I show them poetry. I own the honest, I haven't diplomas, I know it don't for the key. I'm going through life with a mind of a titan and light. Now listen to me. This is that time for you to be a warrior. This is that time for you to be a warrior. Yeah. This is that time for you to be a warrior. Be a warrior. Be a warrior, yeah. This is that time for you to be a warrior. This is that time for you to be a warrior, yeah. This is that time for you to be a warrior. 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 This is that time. This is that time. This is that time. Get out there and vote. Our lives depend on it. Be a warrior. Be a warrior.
Yes, I love it. So that was River Flows, our brother Torrin Jacobs, who is the brother-in-law of Dr. E.J. David. And he was performing at Indigenize It, which First Alaskans co-hosted with the founders and the holders of the space for Indigenize It, Sagulik Liz Hensley and Allison Akumatu Warden. And so many others that create an open performance space so that our Native people who are, as you can see, so incredibly talented, can share with each other and uplift each other with their creative talent and genius. And River Flows sang this song, and we play it here tonight to our TRHT tributes in dedication to the fact that you folks are out there in the global media world, making sure that a light is shined on Alaska Native people and on Indigenous people. And so if you could share the screen, Nungasuk. We want to say thank you so much to our 3 tributes for our Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation endeavor. Portugal the Man, Indian Country Today, and Mark Trahant, and Molly of Denali. Portugal the Man, a world famous musical group with roots in Alaska, won a Grammy recently, and they dedicated that Grammy to the youth in our villages across Alaska and to our Native people here at home in Alaska and to the Indigenous people across the world. They use their platform to shine a light. And every time they have a concert, they reach out to the Indigenous people in that place and they begin a relationship and they invite them to come onto the stage with them and share about their homelands. They don't have to do that. But they do, because it's the right thing to do. And that's one of the reasons that we appreciate them so much. So to John Gorley, Zach Carruthers, and Eric Hauk, and the rest of your band, Hawa, for shining a light on our Alaska Native people and Indigenous people across the world. We also wanted to highlight Indian Country Today and Mark Trahant and his amazing team of journalists. They have created an internationally accessible route for people to hear stories about us, that are by us, that are for us, and that speak to the issues that are so important to us, that highlight the incredible talent and creativity of our people, that shine a beautiful spotlight on the depth of our stewardship and the strength of our cultures and our languages, and give us content that's meaningful and relevant to us today. Like just recently, they hosted an election show for coverage on how Indian country was showing up in elections across the country. And so I want to say to Indian country today, Mark Trehant and your entire team. Mark has been a part of the work at FAI for quite some time. He always says yes when we invite him to do something with us. And he comes as a catalyzer. And he's actually spoken at the gala in person about the fact that Howard Rock has been and is still a huge inspiration for what drives him and his team to do the work that they do. So to Mark and everyone with you, Ganesh so much for all you do. And then finally, Molly of Denali. And if you haven't had a chance to watch our little girl here, I'll just call her our little niece, a little cartoon niece, Molly of Denali. Please do. She is the first Native main character of a national show. And the writers, the creators, the advisory boards, the language experts, they all pour so much into making sure that they are really putting forward the best possible information and authenticity of who we are as Native people. And they focus on really powerful issues, such as the boarding school issue and the impact that it had on us. And I just want to mention as well that one of our awardees, Unei, is a writer for Molly of the Denali as well. So we just wanted to take this moment in time when we need so much media, and we need media that matters. We need influencers who actually care about us as Native people, who are good relatives to us as Native people. And these three really exemplify that. So we want to say Hawa so much for all that you do. And as we transition into a few more things, there's an exciting tidbit that I wanted to share with all of you. Some of you may have already discovered it, but we were saving it for an announcement tonight. Because of the pandemic, we've had to retool our First Alaskans magazine. We know so many of you love it because it allows you to see our peoples, our ways of life, and our cultures so vibrantly written about and shared. And so because of the pandemic, we kind of took a new route, and we are now going digital with the magazine, and it's accessible right now on our website, firstalaskans.org. And it's our first time, it's our first edition, so it's free for all. We want you to take a look, enjoy it, and let us know what you think. So again, we're really excited to show it and share it with all of you. Abra, can you give us a shot of the cover real quick? So this is our cover of our magazine. And again, you can find it at firstalaskans.org. And please share it widely. There's incredible stories. And as you can see from the cover with Carol Sepalu here, there's a really powerful story about overcoming that you really need to read. So, and with that, I will turn it over for our next section. So much, everyone.
During this year's virtual gala, our staff wanted to bring the beauty of the Indigenized Gala into an interactive opportunity to uplift and celebrate our people during these uncertain and difficult times, and also during Native Heritage Month. Through this idea came our social media challenge, What You Would Have Worn. We are so grateful and humbled by the amazing entries that we received through the contest deadline of yesterday at noon. We're proud to share with you a compilation of all the entries. Nungasuk, would you bring up the video, please? Weren't those amazing? I just love seeing all of this Indigenous amazingness flooding social media. Our winners for this contest were chosen randomly, simply for entering on time. It's with great pleasure that I announce our winners. One event ticket to the next in-person gala, which hopefully will be in 2021, our 10th annual Smokehouse Gala, goes to Jocelyn Remy. 2 event tickets to the next in-person gala goes to Mona Yvonne. The grand prize of 1 round trip Alaska airline ticket donated by Alaska Airlines goes to Kimberly Nicholas. We congratulate the 3 of you and look forward to seeing some of you at next year's gala. In addition, we received so many amazing entries that we really felt embodied the spirit of the Smokehouse Gala that our staff chose 2 additional winners. The winners of our staff bonus picks, who both win 1 round trip ticket on Alaska Airlines, goes to Alan Hayton and Jackie Boyer. Quyanaasinaq to all of our entrants. We loved seeing your beauty and joy and appreciate you helping us indigenize this virtual space during Native Heritage Month and our 2020 Smokehouse Gala. Desak, thank you for joining me. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, Wakalinga Colin Desak McDonald. I'm Yupik, born and raised in Bethel, Alaska, now living in Anchorage. I am the Indigenous Advancement Manager for First Alaskans and have been for almost closing on 6 years, over 5.5 years. And one of the main things I get to do every year is really have a big hand in building these galas and creating all this amazingness we get to see tonight. And it's so awesome because usually I'm in the background and I actually get to watch this one. So this is really special. So Quiana for joining us.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm so excited. So Desak and I just wanted to say a big Quyanaasinaq on behalf of, I got to say that again because my Shukpiat people will completely correct me. Quyanaasinaq, again, to all of our sponsors, including 2 of our newest sponsors from tonight, Diane Kaplan and Mike Williams, to our supporters, to our artists, to our donors, Drew Michael, who designs and makes our awards, and of course, our brother Torrin Jacobs, or River Flows, for the use of his amazing music in our videos throughout tonight. Desak?
Yeah, I wanted to thank our artists in action this year. Usually at the gala, we have a couple artists in room creating beautiful pieces that we auction off, and we wanted to continue that in a virtual form. So we asked 5 artists that have been involved in the past galas to create pieces and create videos, and we hope you watched all of them. They're still up on our event page, so please check them out. They're really, really amazing. But the artists, it actually turned out to be 6 artists because Hannah Scholl had her husband help her out, but Uksiak Gage and Akighqukaaghaq Hannah Scholl created the beautiful paddle. Leon Misiak Kiniavuk created a beautiful whale spirit mask. Benjamin Tunak Charles from out in Bethel, my area, made 3 beautiful masks. Jeremiah Koch James created the warmest looking sea otter and seal blanket. I really wanted to curl up in it when I opened up that box. And Daniel Larson, who created a beautiful painting. Quiana to all of our artists in action. And like I said, please check out their videos. They're pretty amazing.
You have one more.
What did I miss?
Not artists in action. Who's next?
Oh, I thought I was just doing artists in action. No, Chef Nikki Graham, who I had the pleasure of doing our online FAI TV cooking show where she created a beautiful menu. Hopefully some of you out there followed those steps and created the beautiful food she shared with us. Yeah, she's been our Indigenous chef for the last 2 years or 3 years. So yeah, it's amazing to work with her every year and fill our bellies with that amazing indigenous inspired food every fall. So Quyanaa.
And finally, I just want to give a really special quyanaasinaq and guna shish to Jake and Aiden Hawk, Jeffrey Mark, and Norma Jean Dunn as this year's super volunteers. We thank you guys so much for all of your help. Laganai?
Yay, Kanishchish. Actually, Saluan Tanichka and Tasak, can you rejoin me really quickly? There you are. So just so you all know, it was their brilliance who helped us and guided us and stewarded us for the last whole planning and putting into effect the first ever Virtual Smokehouse Gala. And so I just wanted to take this moment to say Quyanaa, Chaknak to both of you so much. You did a great job. Thank you. Surprise, I wanted to say that to you both. It's been, it takes us a year to get here. It takes us a year of planning. It takes us months and months of the putting everything in place. And then for it being virtual, it took a lot of extra technical skill and savvy as well. So thank you both so much, Quyanaa. Okay, so we are now coming to the end of our time. We have a couple more things that we want to do. We have a special gift that we wanted to share. It's one last video. And this is a song composed by Kachung Stephen Blanchette, and it is called Our People. And Kachung is FAI family. He used to work with us many years ago. And he wrote the song actually while we were hosting a dialogue in Bethel. And he and his partner Joy worked it out in terms of the song, and then they shared it with us, and he sang and played it for us live at that Bethel lock-in. And so when he made this video recently, it just felt like a homecoming to hear the beauty and strength of our people, our Native people. And it's really an ode to our people. And so we wanted to share that with all of you and gift that to all of you. If you haven't seen it yet, and for those of you who have, you'll know why we're sharing it, because it is really a beautiful song. So if we could play that video.
Listen to the stories. We cried and we laughed. Lessons from our history. No matter how we go back, because we strive to move forward. A vision of what we can be. Full is our circle, complete is you and me. And we'll fill it with love, and we'll fill it with joy, and we'll fill it with pride. A vision of what we can be. My first Alaskans. My first Alaskans. My first Alaskans. I love you. I love you. My people, I come to you as natives hand in hand. Shift of the paradigm. What's the answer? Many in the land. 10,000 years we met as beautiful native tribes. We didn't start this fire, but we kept it in the dark times in your mind. My first Alaskans, my first Alaskans, my first Alaskans, I love you. I love you. My first Alaskans, I love you. My first Alaskans, I love you. My first Alaskans, I love you. I love you, I love you. My first Alaskans, I love you. My first Alaskans, I love you. My first Alaskans, I love you. I love you. Listen to the story, we cry and we laugh, and the time is now.
Aspiak. Ariga. How many times can you cry in one in one night? That was so beautiful. Quyanaasinaq for sharing the video with us and allowing us to use it to close out our time together. Man, our cultures look so good on us. Our languages sound so good on us. Loving who we are looks so good on us. We hope that you have been uplifted, as we have, by the incredible people we've gotten to share this night with, including all of you. At this time, I'd love to invite our awardees, our trustees, and our staff onto the screen so that we can say goodbye.
Nobody wants to say bye. We want to just ITV 24/7.
We stand right here.
Sam, unmute my video.
Oh yeah, Tessa, can you turn Sam's video on?
I've been muted for an hour. That's the way you wanted it.
I'm not sure why it's not coming on.
Thank you, Liz. That was a wonderful program. I really enjoyed it. A great song too at the end. Just absolutely fabulous videos and a great song. Yeah.
This was more than wonderful, but I did a lot of ugly crying.
Real snot festival.
Margaret, it's good to see you there. Quyanaasinaq for all you do and all the ways that you've shared EJ with all of us, and baby Tala. We also wanted to mention that EJ is also a writer for Molly of Denali, which shouldn't surprise us. Of course you are.
I'm just consulting.
Oh.
You consult well.
Hi, Margaret.
Well, we can't thank you all enough, to our trustees and all of our staff, to our awardees and your families. We can't thank you enough for taking your time tonight. We know that, you know, it's a hot Saturday night during the pandemic. You got no place else to be, so.
Liz,
We have
my
a-
screen showed up and it says we're streaming live on Facebook. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're still live.
We're still on? Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, we just wanted a chance to kind of get us all fill the screen with all of our beautiful faces as we wave goodnight to Alaska, to our family and friends across the country and internationally. And say "Konashchish Hawa" to all of you for watching us tonight. And thank you to 360 North, who will be broadcasting this awards show, the gala tonight. They'll be broadcasting it in December. So everyone who has a TV and can watch 360 North will get to see this at that time as well. So Konashchish and good night, everyone. Be safe out there. Wear your mask.
Bye.
Stay physically busy.
Bye.
Get through this. Good night.